Welcome back to another eBay Miniature Rescue. I'm Casey, and this week we're going to be working on this singular Stormfiend. So probably one of the questions I get the most is, why don't you strip your miniatures before you paint them? In a lot of cases, I don't find it necessary to do that. I'm just furthering along a paint scheme that someone else has already done. But in this particular case, it was pretty gross. More than most of the models I get. I paid $12 for this Stormfiend. I put it in my sonic cleaner for probably 6 hours, and it pretty much got everything down to the prime level. So it's missing a few parts. The backpack, for the most part, is the only major piece it's missing. So I'm going to just shuffle through a bunch of bits boxes and see what we can come up with. So as I was looking through all of these boxes, I kind of settled on a weird idea. So we have this standalone Skaven model. He's kind of stitched together and messed up. I thought, why not just take the bits from the warp lightning cannon and turn this rat into a giant gun? He already has guns for arms. Let's just go one step further. Alright, so we got the pieces on. It looks pretty good, pretty natural, holding it on his shoulder, but a lot of the pieces are missing kind of the tubes and the fasteners. So I'm just going to use some green stuff and quickly do some long tubes that just kind of connect everything and make it look more like it was supposed to be there. Coming in with Vallejo Surface Primer White, I'm going to go over all of the plastic and just give a once over on the whole thing to just kind of tie everything together. I also filled in some of the lines, some of the muscle lines there were some gaps with Milliput. So starting off with dwarf skin, we're going to just block in the skin. Adding in a fair amount of burnt umber directly into the pot. We're going to mix that up with the skin tone and just do the undersides of the muscles to give a little more tone and some shadow. Oh, look at that. Well, that's fine. I broke him off the base that I just put him on, but of course he broke at a stupid spot, even though there's only one little dot of super glue. But, in the long run, it's not really a big deal. We'll just paint him off the base for now and put it back on at the end. Coming in a little bit early with Reikland Flesh Shade, we're going to do a wash all over the skin, and what this is going to do is going to set us up for more airbrushing later on so that we can see all of the lines and we know exactly where we're shooting to highlight. Using our original color dwarf skin, we're going to go back over and start that process of just picking out those raised areas and larger flat surface muscles just to give a lot more definition while trying the best we can to leave as much shade in there as possible. Coming in with some Druchii Violet, we're going to hit all of the jacked up muscle areas that are scarred, wrapped around the guns where his arms used to be, and just kind of, we're not going to go too nurgly on it. We don't want it to be too much, so it's mixed a little bit with some water, but we're just going to give it a little bit of bruising. I'm using Deathworld Forest for the loincloth and a lot of the leather straps. You can pretty much use any other color you want and just follow that highlighting step of the dark, lighter, lightest. For these colors, it's whatever's going to match your army pretty much. With Screaming Bell, I'm going to hit all of the metallic parts all over his entire body, including the Warp Lightning Cannon. The only thing I'm not going to do are the main rattling guns for hands. With Bright Bronze, we're just going to highlight all of the Screaming Bell that we just did. Lead Belcher will be used for the rattling guns. Menoth White Base for the pair of skulls, some straps, and there's some dividers in between his belt pieces that I'm just gonna make white. A known oil wash for all of the silver metallic areas. A wash of Reichland Flesh Shade for all of the Screaming Bell parts. So far, so good. From here on, we're just going to be doing some highlighting. We're going to bring in the Warp Fire and continue to push this weird model. Starting with Goblin Green. Using Escorpina Green, we're just going to do the next step in highlighting from that Goblin Green that we already had. I'm also going to come in real tight on the armor and just brighten up the runes with this green to kind of tie it in with the whole Warp Lightning Cannon feel. Using watered down Moot Green, I'm going to just go into some of the recesses and kind of hit the tops of some of the other green just to bring it up another step. Personally, I like Mephiston Red, Magic Blue, and Uriel Yellow for tubes on Skaven. Something about the combination looks pretty cool. You can pretty much do whatever you want in whatever order you want, and then I just give it a quick wash with Agrax Earthshade. Using Menoth White Highlight, I'm just going to quickly go and edge highlight some of the brighter green areas, and then I'm just going to go over some of the cloth, and there's some stitches on his legs and arms, some straps, that kind of thing, and just brighten those up a little bit. Using Radiant Platinum, I'm going to edge highlight all of his armor.
Just another ghost. My thoughts are primal. My anger shows. My moves are heavy. My sight is slow. Am I an angel or just another ghost? Don't turn around now.
Continuing with Radiant Platinum, I'm just going to dry brush the large guns. So using the same size base that a Warp Lightning cannon would be on normally, I just did some quick rocks, some static grass, kind of outlined an area for this realistic water effect. I put some rocks in there, and then after it started setting up, I poured the paint in this bright green, and it kind of spread through the water. And when it dries, it just has this really cool like warpstone glow effect to it. Like there's a piece of warpstone stuck in the middle of this water, and he's like protecting it. So I landed this model for $12, completed with no shipping. It's all free. I did strip the paint off because mostly in his face, it was just completely gone. There was no detail there anymore. He was missing some parts, so that's partially why it was so inexpensive. But you know, this is just another opportunity to dig around and kit bash something together and make a pretty unique looking model. In the end, I'm pretty happy with the way that this turned out. You know, we had to do a little bit of extra work to kind of line things up and match parts. But I mean, that's part of the fun, right? Just doing something weird with a giant gun rat is pretty exciting. And I think that it will get people to kind of double take when they look down at the table. So thank you again for joining me on another eBay miniature rescue. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment and let me know how it's going. Check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/eBay Miniature Rescues. Share your rescues and photos and works in progress. And I will see you in the next video.